Jealous defective detectives betrayal at Six Flags, California. The sun was drifting downwards as the evening broke over the city, while traffic filled the freeways as workers hurried home to enjoy their weekends. It was warm, even for California this late October, as the light started to fade from the sky, an almost icy breeze swept amongst the vehicles. The detective pulled her coat around her to deal with the sudden draft, whilst her eyes tried to locate where the gust had come from. There within the gridlocked cars, she spied a darkened hearse surrounded by frostbitten vehicles. Vehicles that seemed to be wobbling around, moved by the blasting sounds of Ghostbusters. She'd finally found him. Count Bruni was in her sights. Detective Pyrotechnics turned down her radio, slammed the car door shut, and headed for the noise. It had been a long day for the Count, a day that had started with so much promise the night before. He'd been with his beloved Countess Anne-Marie at Six Flags, celebrating their 200th anniversary. They cleared the park, scaring all families away as the sun went down. Tortured workers to operate the rides all night for their amusement, and then sat down for a nice glass of blood. That's where the night had gone awry. An argument over the blood's origin, was it animal or human, had broken out and escalated, ending in both storming off, shouting hurtful words at each other. Count Bruni had spent the rest of the day in search of the Countess from the confines of his hearse, waiting on the fall of night to present him with alternative travel options. He must find his love and apologise before it was too late. Smash! The side of the hearse shook as one of the windows was caved in. Outside it stood the defective detective, bellowing, "Come face me, Count Bruni!" With that, the sky suddenly darkened. The Count arose from his coffin and flew into the night, simply whispering, "Not tonight, detective. Not tonight." Meanwhile, only 3 cars away, the Countess sat in a tricked-out limousine, enjoying the finest red while listening to the sounds of Bob Marley. Her new friend, Dracallum, was throwing a party in her honour down at the beach, inviting everyone that he could to enjoy the evening's delights. They may not get what they bargained for, but he had guaranteed a truly unforgettable night. As the limo pulled up to the beachfront, hundreds filled the sands, dancing around an impressive fire pit as if their lives depended on it. The Countess raced down to the gathering crowd, eager to dance her troubles away, and was greeted with the most enormous cheer. She had arrived. The detective had returned to her office, having lost the count. The case she was investigating was a number of mysterious farmland animal disappearances, and after months of research, she finally came upon the trail of the count. Sightings of him in various surrounding states went back years, and it seemed to her he left a trail of blood in his wake. However, having tracked him down on several occasions, Pyrotechnics had yet to successfully take him in for questioning. Each encounter left her vexed. Although so close to him, his gaze almost seemed to control her while in it. This had led to many sleepless nights and an unlikely infatuation with the man. She no longer knew why she must track him down, but every fibre of her being urged her to do so. As the detective considered all this, the phone rang. It sounded like Count Bruni had struck again. Pyra arrived at the farm to find a slew of pig, cow and horse corpses. This was different from the other sites she'd visited. It all seemed fresher, untidy. The Count hadn't been as careful here. She began to search the fields for any clue that might reignite the trail, but although there were plenty of carcasses here, there didn't appear to be any sign of where Bruni had gone next. She'd maybe have better luck coming back the following day, as searching by the light of the moon and a flashlight was proving taxing. Clunk! Splash! A great ruckus came from over by the pig trough, and as Pyra raced over, she saw a flyer floating down from the sky. Dracallum presents Countess Anne-Marie's beach party. Drinks are free. Then in much smaller writing, the promoters reserve the right to dramatically reduce your lifespan in exchange for all consumed. This was it, where she must go to find the Count. When Count Bruni arrived at the beach, things appeared to be in full swing. There was music, dancing and festivities everywhere. Many of the revellers were overly intoxicated and no one was capable of answering his questions. Where's the Countess? Have you seen Anne-Marie? The Count tore through the crowd, firing these questions at all but to no avail. Although unhelpful, all the partygoers were extremely friendly, and sometimes overly so, other than those surrounding the fire pit waiting on their next drink from the cauldron. This was until screams started ringing out around the beach and chaos ensued, the crowd scattering in all directions. Dracallum had become bored by the festivities. The Countess had vanished and he had waited long enough for feeding time. He ripped through the inebriated gathering, leaving bodies lying in all directions. Seeing this, the Count, being a lover and not a fighter, while also having fought an arduous campaign for equal vampire rights, went to have a word. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Bruni bellowed before Dracallum pounced him and raining blows upon him. Was this the end? Was the Count's number up? Kaploosh! Showers of dust poured over the Count. Towering above him, all he could see was the defective detective, stake in hand. Count Bruni quickly got to his feet, knocked over defective pyrotechnics, took away her weapon, and chucked it into the ocean. "Ow!" A cry came from the water. It was the Countess. She'd been swimming throughout the entire Stramash. Seeing the Count amongst the chaos, she flew straight to his side to make up. At this point, the defective detective brought over some drinks from the magic Happy Juice cauldron as a peace offering, and all three became firm friends very quickly, sitting by the sand, taking in the night air, the stars above them. The end.